Even though the entire country is in a state of grief after the Pulwama attack, CRPF soldiers, being true to their own duty, are guarding the Pakistani High Commission. Earlier today, there were protests that were held outside the building. Our correspondent Ayushman then brought us this report.
At a time when the nation is grieving with the losses of 40 Jawans who died in Pulwama from the CRPF, we are outside the Pakistan High Commission, where a series of protests are being undertaken by several people who say that Pakistan is behind these attacks. And guess who is guarding the Pakistan High Commission? It's the CRPF soldiers. When we tried to talk to them, since they are on duty, they couldn't talk, but off the camera they said us that it is the responsibility of nation that is bestowed on their soldiers, and that is why they are here in front of Pakistan embassy to guard them so that nothing untoward happens out here. With camera person Sujit, Ayushman Kumar for Mirror Now, New Delhi.
Times Network spoke with the Information and Broadcasting Minister of Pakistan, Fawad Chaudhry, on the Kashmir attack. Pakistan Minister has refuted all allegations levelled by India and has also asked for proof regarding the involvement of Jaish-e-Mohammed before Pakistan takes any action against the terror outfit. Our correspondent Wajiullah spoke with the Minister of Pakistani government. Listen.
ये पूछना था सर आपसे, एक और अटैक हुआ कश्मीर में, पुलवामा में 40 people have died. All links point out to Pakistan. So what do you have to say for that?
All links point out to Pakistan. जो गाड़ी है वो पाकिस्तान की है क्या? 130 माइल्स जाके अंदर अटैक होता और how can we blame Pakistan for that? I think there is more of chattering on the links, but sir, nothing brought on their court.
Correct, sir. But sir, JEM of Masood Azhar have claimed responsibility for them, sir. And he's harbored by you.
They have not claimed it.
Yes, they have claimed responsibility, sir. There are video evidences of it.
No. First, they have not claimed responsibility. And number two, if they are involved, come up with the evidence, so certainly action.
But there are video evidences of his own members giving out, telling that they were involved in it. The person who killed was also a JEM member, but you still continue to harbor him.
When Indian government should oppose Pakistan government asks for help in investigating, they are more than willing to help.
Classic Pakistani response, completely in denial and saying, show us the proof and we'll take action, but no action is ever taken. In fact, terror outfit Jaish-e-Mohammed has claimed responsibility for this horrific terror attack founded by Masood Azhar, a man who's responsible for some of the worst terror attacks on Indian soil, including the 2001 Parliament attack and the 26/11 Mumbai terror attack. What makes this even worse is that 20 years ago, Azhar was jailed in India, but was then released in a hostage exchange to secure the 150 passengers who were on board the hijacked flight 1C184. Here is a report on why Masood Azhar is one of India's most wanted terrorists and our biggest enemy. Hijacked Indian Airlines flight IC-184, parked at a desolate airfield in Afghanistan's Kandahar. A day after being hijacked on Christmas Eve, en route from Kathmandu to Delhi. 20 years later, the impact of the hostage exchange program negotiated by authorities to secure the release of 150 passengers continues to haunt and torment India.
As a result of the negotiations with the Taliban and the hijackers, there has been an agreement for the release of all the hostages in exchange for 3 militants.
What is
3?
For it was this man, a bespectacled and diminutive religious preacher, Maulana Masood Azhar, released from Jammu's Kot Bhalwal jail in exchange for the release of passengers, who founded the terror outfit Jaish-e-Mohammed, or the Army of God, on his return to Pakistan. And he has masterminded some of India's worst terror attacks since, including Thursday's deadly attack on a CRPF convoy in Pulwama.
कश्मीर में हमारे सीआरपीएफ के बहादुर जवानों पर जो आतंकवादी हमला हुआ है वो पाकिस्तान स्थित और उनके द्वारा संरक्षित आतंकवादी संगठन जैश मोहम्मद ने किया है.
As the Home Minister named Jaish as the group that killed over 40 CRPF men, he was merely stating the latest in a string of unprecedented attacks on India and the subsequent blame. 2 years after his release, Masood Azhar's JEM had masterminded the audacious attack on the parliament. Ironically, it was a CRPF sub-inspector whose heroic act of gunning down 3 of the 5 terrorists who stormed parliament saved India's temple of democracy. Seven years later, Masood Azhar and Jaish would strike again. This time masterminding the devastating Mumbai attacks, India's worst ever, with over 175 dead and 300 injured. An attack that lasted over 60 hours and targeted Mumbai's most iconic landmarks.
हमारे सुरक्षा बलों को पूर्ण स्वतंत्रता दे दी गई है.
As the Indian government promises decisive, coercive and diplomatic efforts to get Jaish and Masood Azhar yet again, the man who was once in our jails continues to roam free in Pakistan. Bureau Report, Mirror Now. The idea of this special broadcast was to bring to you the stories and tell you about the man who's responsible for it. Tonight we pray, tonight we pay our tributes, but we must also remember that our job is to take care of these families, is to take care of those children who will now grow up without a father. And that is something that as a country, as a nation, we need to start doing. As our soldiers protect us and guard our borders, we must take on the responsibility of taking care of their families. We leave you with some visuals that have come from across India of citizens paying tributes to these 40 heroes.